we go.
So when Brendan asked me to do this presentation, I wanted to do something edgy and creative. I was thinking about all the topics that I'm uncomfortable to talk about. I wanted to do one of those. So naturally, I landed on porn. My girlfriend was delighted. I could tell. The only thing that she wanted me to do in life. I was particularly interested in talking about porn and its role in shaping the internet as we know it today. I mean, the industry was the first to introduce P2P sharing, webcamming, flash ads, and even online payments. So when it comes to the digital space, these guys are truly leaders. And it just goes to show what happens when your service is actually addictive. But the entire time, I just felt like I was cheating on Uganda. For those of you who don't know, I've been involved in a development project in Uganda for the past 4 years, and it's completely transformed my life. I talk about Uganda Venture, my project, every chance I get, and this time is no different. So without further ado, again. Before I talk about what I do in Uganda, I just wanted to briefly touch on why I do what I do. And I think it all boils down to this core belief. Where you live in the world should not determine whether you live in the world. So we can't choose where and when we are born. Some of us are more privileged than others, and to me that just means that we have more of a responsibility to help and serve. So when we first landed in Tabira village in Uganda, we were just overwhelmed by the hundreds of children that were on the schoolyard. And we didn't know where they slept or where they stayed at night, because all we saw was a couple of school structures, or was a couple of classrooms. So we asked Dominic, the head teacher at the school, where did all these children sleep? And we were completely shocked by his answer. He said that all the orphans sleep in the classroom at night, and in the morning they wake up, fold up their mattresses or mats, and store them away and start class. So back then we were just a group of people, and we felt like that is not acceptable, and we had to do something about that. So we fundraised a bunch of money, and invited a bunch of people, and we went down and we built a dorm that housed 50 orphans. The next year we went back and we built another dorm that housed another 50 orphans, and now I'm happy to report that every child in Tabiro, which is the village where we work, has a bed. But Uganda is a funny place. A 5-minute walk down the road and you're in a completely different community, different village, and potentially a different language. And that's the situation that we found ourselves in. And this new community was called Chikunyu, and it had a lot of need. They had about 60 students that would pile up in one small room every morning to attend school. So they didn't even ask us for a school building, but we just fundraised a bunch of money, called a bunch of people to come down to Uganda, and we went down and we built 7 classrooms over 2 years. And I'm happy to report that enrollment increased from 60 students to 230. But people need more than just buildings. And our vision for Uganda and for the villages where we work is more than just transforming them into concrete jungles. And we don't want to impose our Western lifestyle on the people of Uganda. This is just a joint effort to help them come out of poverty and get them to where they need to be. So the women in the village, they wanted to get in on this development work. And they even had an idea of how we could help them. So they asked us to teach them how to make crafts to sell at a nearby tourist market near the equator. So we rolled up our sleeves and we got busy with the women. What started with 7 women, the club is now 30 women. My girlfriend did her master's research this past summer on the women's club, and she actually found out that all the women are in fact empowered economically, socially, and have increased capacity individually as a group and at home. For our next venture was to help people start their own businesses. We wanted entrepreneurs in the villages in Uganda to find something that they're passionate about and start it as their own business to help themselves come out of poverty. We can't always just keep pumping money into the system. They need to do something themselves as well. So in 2012, we hired Rebecca, who is our microfinance bank manager on the ground. So far, since we've announced the program, we received over 500 applications, and I'm happy to announce also that this summer we will be financing 60 entrepreneurs in Uganda to start their own projects on the ground. Contrary to what you might think, I feel like I've gained from Uganda Venture and my friends in Uganda far more than I could ever receive or give. I assure you that everyone who's ever been to Uganda feels that way. For example, every time I go to Uganda, the orphans remember everyone that's ever been to the project, and they give me stacks of letters to give back to everyone that's ever come to Uganda. Just think about how awesome that is. You go up to a place for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then you receive a pile of letters every year from people telling you how amazingly missed you are. Maybe a little creepy in our culture, but I find it extremely endearing. It might feel like I'm on the Dragon's Den pitching business ideas, or like I'm just sitting here telling you about how awesome I am and how everyone should be more like me, including Mother Teresa and Gandhi. But that's not the case. I'm just telling you my story, because I believe that my story with Uganda Venture, and I believe in the power of ordinary people. I believe in the kind of difference that we can make in the world when we are deeply passionate and committed to leave this place better than we found it. So we don't need CEDA, we don't need USAID, we don't need the UN, and we don't need the G20 to steward and influence real sustainable development. So if there's one key takeaway from this presentation today, it's for all of us to be more open, to say yes more often and to anything, even if we don't know what we're saying yes to. Because I can tell you from experience that finding the one will require a little bit of experimenting. That is the case for me. I didn't know what I was doing. I jumped into Uganda, felt completely in love. Finally, I just want to say thanks for your time, thanks for being attentive, and thanks for everyone here that encourages me to keep Uganda a part of my life, to keep Uganda a priority. And I just hope that this presentation was a little bit of an inspiration to you to go out and get inspired and use your powers for good. Woo!